If you'd like to learn how to protect yourself, your property, and critical electronic pieces of equipment from being destroyed by an electromagnetic pulse, otherwise known as an EMP, whether that's a weaponized EMP launched by a rogue nation maybe hostile to our country, or a CME unleashed from an intense solar flare hitting our planet's atmosphere and then taking down our electric grid, and you want to do everything you can to protect everything electronic in your life from getting fried should we be hit by one of these nasty things, then you're going to want to pay close attention for the next few minutes because we've teamed up with an expert who specializes in helping people protect themselves from an EMP attack and have filmed an entire training program that can teach you how to do the same. But before I tell you about that program, I think it's important you know a little bit more about our expert, because I know that when I first learned about how destructive an EMP attack would be to our society, and I started going out and looking for strategies that I could implement to protect myself, I got really frustrated with all the conflicting and confusing information out on the internet about what would and would not work when it came to protecting myself from an EMP. So I personally started a manhunt for an expert I could go to who could give me the accurate answers I was looking for, and I finally found that expert in Scott Hunt. Scott is a mechanical engineer who was recruited a few years back by North Carolina Task Force to actually help plan an EMP-resistant community. Not many people have done that, by the way. And his role in that project was in helping come up with mechanical solutions that could keep key infrastructure in a community operational should an EMP wipe out most, if not all, of the electronic-based systems in a community that we all take for granted day to day, like city water, sewage, and that kind of thing. During that project, Scott got to work closely with a wide variety of experts on EMPs, from people like Peter Pry, the president of Impact America, an organization dedicated to raising awareness about the threat of EMPs, and to people like Cynthia Ayers, working with the Department of Defense. And while that is probably enough to prove Scott's credibility, the real reason we decided to move forward and put together a product with him is because Scott has actually built his own EMP-resistant home. And when I first heard about that, I immediately asked him if he'd be interested in having our film crew fly out to his place and show people what an EMP-resistant home looks like. Plus, truth be told, I really wanted to pick his brain about EMPs on camera. But when I told Scott about my idea, he took it to a whole other level. Because Scott didn't want to just talk about how to prepare for an EMP, he wanted to show step by step how people could actually build many of the things he'd built on his own property to make it EMP resistant, so that they could know how to protect against an EMP too. Kind of like a do-it-yourself DVD on EMP preparedness projects. Obviously, it didn't take a lot of arm twisting for me to agree to that. So we packed up our film crew and flew out to Scott's property for 5 days to turn that idea into a reality. And the program we created with Scott is this. We call it Home Improvement. It is a complete instructional DVD on how to prepare for and protect yourself from the absolute chaos an EMP would cause to those who aren't prepared for it. And the whole program turned out very cool. It basically has 4 different components. The first focuses on EMP facts versus fiction, where we separate the truth from the myth when it comes to EMPs and how to prepare for them so that you don't waste money prepping for things that won't work and can focus in on solutions that will. Then we show you how to protect key pieces of sensitive electrical equipment by showing you simple ways to make your own homemade Faraday cages out of parts at your local hardware store. If you don't know what a Faraday cage is, it is a structure that, if successfully constructed, blocks all electromagnetic waves from reaching and then destroying whatever electronics are inside of this cage. Essentially, it's a shield that you can put electronics in to protect them from an EMP. Now, there's a lot of information on the internet about Faraday cages, but it's hard to filter through the information on how to actually build them correctly, and it's really easy to get bad instructions. So in this instructional DVD, we show you how to build a wide variety of different Faraday cages correctly, and even Faraday bags for smaller pieces of electrical equipment, so that you can keep things like a solar panel battery charger or weapon optics from being destroyed should an EMP event occur. I'm sure I don't have to tell you just how bad a day it would be if you lost the ability to run either of those two things. And then we move on to the bigger stuff, how to build protective structures for larger items like backup solar panels to replace the ones that would get fried by an EMP, or a place to store generators and refrigerators, chainsaws, or maybe even a motorcycle, all items that would be at least partially destroyed by an EMP, except if you have a kickstart motorcycle, by the way. This is a tricky topic because items of that kind of size need latches or doors, and latches and doors are kind of complex to keep EMPs from sneaking through and destroying stuff. But fear not, because in this DVD, Scott walks you through how to build an EMP-resistant generator shed, step by step, he'll show you how to keep the EMP from coming through the windows, through the door jambs, and even how to construct an EMP-resistant air intake opening in a shed for those really ambitious do-it-yourself folks out there who want to be able to run a generator while an EMP is actually happening. Lastly, Scott switches focus to those same things he was actually recruited by the North Carolina Task Force to help with: mechanical solutions to replace the electric ones that are going to fail during an EMP. I'm not going to cover them all here, as I'll leave you a few surprises inside the DVD program, but I will say this. One of the things that will be most missed in the event of an EMP is the inability to get water pressure into your home, especially from a water source that can't be gravity fed into your home, which is why Scott shows you how to design a system in this DVD that can pull water from below your home and with no energy source other than manual pumps provide enough water pressure to your house for a 10-minute shower. And if you're willing to spend another half a day building an add-on component to that system, he'll show you how to even make it so it's a hot shower and not a cold one. And in a world without electricity, I can't imagine a bigger luxury item. All in all, this instructional DVD is 84 minutes of in-depth, step-by-step instructions on everything you need to know to protect yourself from an EMP. And as a special gift for picking up a copy of this DVD today, I also want to give you this free gift. It's a Faraday bag that is actually designed to meet military specs for being EMP resistant. This is the kind of stuff we can give to our military members when we want to protect the equipment they're carrying with them from potentially being destroyed by an EMP. And I wanted to give it to you as a bonus, because you know how I just mentioned weapon optics and solar-powered chargers and how they would be destroyed by an EMP? This Faraday bag is large enough to hold both of those items, or even a PVS-14 night vision optic if you happen to have one, so that as soon as this DVD arrives on your doorstep, you'll instantly be able to protect your most critical electronics with a mil-spec Faraday bag. Buying this bag separately would cost you around $9, but if you click the Add to Cart button below this video now and pick up a copy of Home Improvement today, it's yours as my free gift to you. Plus, I'm even going to go one step further. If for any reason you are not completely blown away and satisfied by the content on this DVD, simply mail it back to us within 90 days for a full and complete refund. No questions asked. And I will even let you keep the Faraday bag to just show you how confident I am that you're going to love this DVD. If that sounds like a fair deal, simply click the Add to Cart button below this video, fill out the form on the following page, and I look forward to helping you better prepare yourself for the threat of an EMP.